That's so much fun. Let's try that again. Good morning, children of God.
Good morning.
That way the folks at home know it's actually us instead of some other program. The original sin is to limit God. Don't. Good, you like that one? So do I. There is no limit. Absolutely. Let's stand. Join together and sing in the silence.
In the silence, there is a sacred place, a secret meeting place. Love is there. In the silence, where every color blends and every rainbow ends, good is there. In the light that you know peace of mind. In the silence, your path is paved in gold, and all your dreams unfold. Love is there. Peace is there. Truth is there. God is there.
In this moment, God is here. With each breath I take, I acknowledge His presence moving in and through me. This day, in this moment, I choose to be open, to be receptive and responsive to His instruction and guidance. This day, I am grateful for the opportunity to come together, to worship, to sing, and to pray in the name, in the nature, in the power of the Christ. Amen.
Amen. Now it's time for our daily word, and today's word is thrive, and the reading will be by Terry this morning.
Hi, good morning. For Sunday, June 1st, the word is thrive. Thrive. I thrive from the inside out. Just as wildflowers bloom and flourish on a rocky mountainside, my life can thrive in less than ideal conditions. It is not outer but inner conditions that determine my health and well-being. At the center of me is God, the very wellspring of life, the source of all good, all love, all life, and all joy. I am most at peace when I stop struggling to change outer conditions and turn within. As I attune to the harmonious vibration of divine love, I feel utmost joy. I experience complete satisfaction as I am filled with the enormity of infinite spirit. I am restored and uplifted. Within me is all the wisdom I need to make loving, life-affirming choices. Within me is all I need to thrive. And from Proverbs 19:8, to get wisdom is to love oneself. To keep understanding is to prosper.
Oh, that's what I meant to say. And I forgot it during the announcement, so I might as well do it now. For those of you that do not have a current copy of the Daily Word, we have them. They're now in 2-month sections, so May and June, June 1st, and they're available in the bookstore, $3 as opposed to the normal $6. Just something to put on your list of things to do. Why? Because you should have a daily practice, or an hourly practice, or a minute practice, or practice. Because the more you hold to the truth of who you are, the more you affirm the truth of who you are, the more that will show up in your world. Let's take our affirmation together. I am a child of the living God. I have within me the all-creating power of the Christ. It radiates from me and blesses all whom I contact. I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I am now in the presence. Let's rest and join with Steve in I am. From your heart now. With each breath I take, having stilled my body, I choose in this moment to quiet my mind. I move to that place in consciousness that Jesus called our secret place, our inner closet. And as I enter in, gently, easily, I set aside all those thoughts and feelings of what I should have done. Gently, easily, I set aside those thoughts of what I have yet to do this day. I breathe. I rest. And I listen. For it is in the stillness that my work is done. In my prayers, I learn to ask. Here in the state of oneness, answers come. This day, I reach out and claim these gifts that have come to me freely. Every need filled full. And I am grateful. This day, as these gifts come to me, I choose to immerse myself in them. Every cell of my being responds. I am re-energized, revitalized, renewed. I am whole and free. Remembering that I am a channel through which good flows into my world, this day I open that channel, knowing no limitation, having freely received these gifts, I send them on their way. I hold that which I need, for there is work yet for me to do. But I know these gifts can be shared with my world. This day I choose to do that. Those thoughts and feelings move into this room, to this place, and join with other thought of like mind, growing in strength and in power. As each child of God is touched, I am blessed. I choose to be a blessing. The flow continues from this place into our community, wherever that may be. Touching each and every one of God's children. Across our state, across our country, touching, blessing each and every one of God's children. In this moment, I am blessed. I choose to be a blessing. The flow continues. Around our world, throughout our universe. Remembering that in truth, we are never separate one from the other. We know that somewhere, somewhen, someone is saying, thank you, thank you, thank you for the gifts that you have sent this day are gratefully received. I am blessed. I choose to be a blessing. And that gratitude, that blessing returns to you. The circle of life, whole and complete. I breathe it. I experience it. I rest in it for one holy moment. Knowing there is more yet for me to do this day, gently, effortlessly, easily, I bring my attention back to this now, to this place. I hold to this experience we have shared and join with you and pray as Jesus, our elder brother, has taught us when he said, "As for you, pray therefore in this manner." And in case that wasn't out loud, there are times when, in our times of prayer and meditation, when there seems to be a desire to remain in the stillness. And as we sang Andy's song, Andy Walks With Me, I was reminded of that. that I could stay there in that place of oneness. The challenge with that is, as good as that is, where do I actually grow? I grow in experience. So I need to take that which I have learned and now put it to work. I need to walk it. I need to step out. Somebody asked me one time, what does that mean to step out into it? How do I step out into love? Is a good example. Okay. How do you step out into love? By loving everything, every step you take. We have doves in our park where we live, and this last year they decided to use my ladder as a nest and had 2 little ones, and they still hang out. They now have learned to fly and on their way, and we got in the habit, Lynn and I, of when we went out, to talk to them, to love them, to bless them. Guess what? They loved us back. They stay. They are unafraid. They know that we love them. That's part of walking the walk. That's part of love one another even as I have loved you. We have the tendency to think that means God's 2-legged critters without wings, because those are 2-legged critters with wings. A little differentiation there. We have the tendency to think that's what Jesus was talking about, and he was, but he was talking about more than that, and that's why we need to learn how to differentiate and discern at a different level. He was talking about all of creation. Love it all. And creation, in turn, will love you. And you'll get a different response in your world. The challenge is it's very easy to fall into living out there, from out there, wherever out there is for you, living from out there into here. But we know, with a capital K, we know, if we'll take a moment and breathe, it's the other way. It's from within out. I use the phrase in our prayer, that place in consciousness that Jesus called our secret place, our inner closet. Okay? Charles Fillmore believed, and I have the tendency to agree with him, that that place is a physical place in this body temple. Not just in thought, although there as well, but physically present within you. Now, Fillmore said it was right behind his heart. For him, that's where he felt. I feel that for me in that same general area. I don't have an X that says here, check here. But that's where I go. That's where I can center. That's where I can feel things happen. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens often enough to remind me to practice. That when I am in prayer and choose to be a channel, that I feel energy coming in, sometimes right to the palm of my hands, like this. It feels like energy coming in and going out from my heart. It is the most bizarre feeling in the world. And if it's new, sometimes it can be frightening. What's that? Breathe. It's okay. It's part of who you are. You're a source. Not a resource. I don't know where that one came from. It just did, so I figured I'd share it with you. You are the source. God is with you right here, right now. God is always with you all the time. Our challenge is we just don't believe it. And we look out here and we say, where is God in that? Out there. Well, where am I looking from? Out there in. I need to shift it around a little bit. Eric Butterworth had a great description. One of the challenges in attempting to define the stillness, in attempting to define God, you put limits on the unlimited. It doesn't work. But it's kind of fun to try. Don't drive yourself crazy, just go, okay. I love this one. God is a sphere. Got the picture of a sphere whose center is everywhere. God is a sphere whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. You can't even picture that in your head. I've been trying. But the more I try and picture that, the less I have the picture of the great guy in the sky with a long beard. Right? This amorphous being out there, a being out there that goes, no, in here. This is where God lives. Not out there, but here. God is. And sometimes that's tough. Because that means if God is, I am. And I don't know that I'm ready for that responsibility. And so we do this. If you'd like to row the boat, feel free. I'm just along for the ride. Right? Some people their whole life. Tell me what I'm supposed to do. Tell me what I'm supposed to believe. Tell me how I'm supposed to do this, how I'm supposed to do the other thing. And I'll just do it. And as a place to start, we all need to start there. But it's only a starting place. You need to row your own boat, as it were. You're the one who needs to decide what that means for you. Or not. And I put that caveat on purpose. Because a lot of times people say to me, Rob, I just don't get this, and I think like I ought to. But how can I be in the presence when I just don't feel it? Guess what? Being in the presence has nothing to do with how you feel. Being in the presence is. Just is. You can't get away. No matter how hard you try. And trust me when I tell you that as a teenager I tried. A lot. To prove everything that I had been taught was wrong. I think all kids do that at one point or another. I did my fair share. And maybe 2 or 3 other kids that my parents didn't have, but I did their share too, but who's counting? The challenge is I kept coming back to the truth of who I was, and I kept coming back because that message remained consistent and constant. That you're living from here out, not out there. What you do shows up in your experience. There is no question. But it begins inside. It begins in here. It begins in thought. And we're beginning to test the boundaries of what we believe. We've been playing with this on Wednesdays in the book of Mark, not so much the book of John, but that's another issue. We've been playing with this notion. If our scientific brethren are correct, in our current level of understanding, we can only hold one thought at a time. Now, we move through thoughts in a hurry, but we can only hold one thought at a time. Point A. Point B, we only use this, maybe 10% is used. What's the other 90% for? Try this one on. What happens when I can harmonize all my thoughts at once, would I not be in the kingdom? Because all my thoughts are in order. All my thoughts peacefully coexist. There is no conflict. All my thoughts come back to the one. I'm now living in oneness. Oh, I'm back in the garden. Yay! Yeah. Because it's that whole notion of the duality, the knowledge of good and evil, that seems to be an issue with which we deal with on a regular basis that we need to eliminate. There is only the one. There is only God. There is only good. Anything other than that is my misunderstanding. And I'm willing to take ownership of that without guilt or shame. Oh, Rob, you've been at this for an awful long time. You should know better. Now, that's Rob's internal dialogue, sometimes. Right? And I need to remind me that that's not what it's about. Of course you know. Put it to work. Oh, yeah, well, that's a different story. Let's just hang on knowing. I don't actually do it. Walk on water. I'm getting in the boat. Heal the sick. Are you kidding? I have enough trouble with me. Although I'm getting better. Right? Raise the dead. Oh, come on. See, I don't believe, do I? It's the truth of who I am, but I'm still in a state of denial. I don't believe it applies to me. Sure, it applies to this one or that one or the other one, but not to me. And the reason is, and I have a list. All of my human experience that seems to point to being other than the truth of who I am. See, I have a list. And you all just went through yours. See, he's right on. Guess what? It's an imaginary list. You have a bigger imagination than that. Imagine the list gone. That's from within out. Because the list is based on out here. How many of you have ever taken a job because mom or dad said you had to? Start with this one, clean up your room. Just change the whole parameter tonight. Oh, we all do that. We do things because others say that's what they expect of us, and we go, okay. And sometimes we hold on to that so hard we don't let go, and so we stop growing. On the surface, it may look as things are going really well for you. But there is that underlying piece that in one-to-one conversation, when you're willing to, as we euphemistically put it, have a go to Jesus meeting, where you go, you know, there's something more. There's something I'm missing. There's something missing in my life, and I'm not sure what that is. It doesn't make the decision to follow what parents said wrong on behalf of parents everywhere. Speaking to kids in the moment, do what I tell you. But our Father gave us a different message. Through our teachers. There is only one God, a thought which took a long time to show up in expression. Love one another, even as I love you, a thought which took a long time to come into expression, and we're still working on that one. Life is eternal. Another thought that we're still working on. We haven't brought it fully into expression. Some have, but not all yet. This was the message, one of the messages that Jesus brought. These and greater things shall ye do. Think about a man who lived in a time where going really, really fast meant to run someplace. That to travel a long distance was a 2-day trip from Medford to Eagle Point. And let's don't even think about Portland. That's another world. Now, take that man and invite him to your home today. How would he deal with this reality? He would say, this is a miracle, yes? This is amazing. All this stuff. The same things were said as the message was being delivered. The people around Jesus said regularly, this is amazing. He speaks with power and authority. Where was he speaking from? From within out. And you have that same capability, whether you believe it or not, right now. You don't have to wait. For those of you who are waiting for the next lifetime, good for you, but you don't have to. You can do it right now. Why? Where does God live? Right here. And with God, all things are possible, yes? Start looking a little bit differently as you move through your day. As a thought comes in, attempt to work at objective awareness. Meaning, as a thought comes in, I neither label it good nor bad, it's just a thought that comes in. Then ask this question, is this thought from outside in or inside out? If it's from outside in, I need to set it aside, rethink it, change it, and then put it back to work. Sometimes that's hard to do. Most of the time it's hard to do. But it doesn't need to be. So don't make it hard to do. Don't take my word for it, just make it easy, and then I go, yay, for you. Most of what keeps us from doing that is the belief about who we are. Breathe. I want you to hold the picture of the truth of who you are. Breathe. Do you see the light? Breathe. Some of you are still holding your breath. This happens with new thought. It's okay. Just breathe. Got that picture? It's you. I love you. Together? I love you. I bless you. Together? I bless you. Because I love, because I bless, I appreciate you. Together? I appreciate you. Hold the picture. This is the truth. I behold the Christ. Together? I behold the Christ. In that moment, you are living from within out.
Thank you for listening. Please feel free to pass this message along to your friends and family. You can obtain additional audio tapes or CDs by visiting our website or by calling our office at 541-772-6902. We invite you to join us in prayer. We know that prayer works, and now you can send your prayer request to our prayer team here at Christ Unity Church by using the form on our website. The activities, programs, and services of this ministry are presented on a love offering basis. All gifts, regardless of size, are gratefully accepted. You may participate either by sending your gift to Christ Unity Church, 540 North Holly Street, Medford, Oregon, 97501, or by visiting us on the internet at www.unitymedford.org.